Hello, everyone. Welcome to Don't Get Lost in the Hype, episode 9. This is Justin, Stin.WAV, Stin the Wavy Mad Scientist. You know, all the names. In this episode, I am talking with I don't even know what my name is. That is his artist name. He is a very smart young person who is an amazing artist, an amazing rapper. He seems to be very aware as to what's going on in the world, and you know, I just genuinely love talking with him. So thank you so much. This is not a episode at the new state itself. Sadly, we had to do it over Zoom call, but regardless, it was still an amazing episode. So, you know, not much to say here. Can't wait for you to listen to it. Thank you. Please support the new state. Anyways, Don't Get Lost in the Hype, episode 9. Thank you.
All right, bet.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. What about you?
Man, I'm long day. How was your day today?
I was pretty chill, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really didn't have anything planned besides the podcast, so I'm happy to be here right now.
Hell yeah. This is my first recording of 2021. I was hoping to
Oh man, first one, this special, man.
First one, man. I'm getting up to only 10 episodes now, or this will be the 9th. I'm gonna have the 10th out as like a special thing, but I was hoping to get you actually at the new state, meet you in person, but just a lot of things going on. Couldn't work it out. So
yeah,
I mean, I say next time because I love having repeat guests on. I love talking to people over and over. So like,
oh yeah, for sure. I would love to like meet you in person. We can talk about whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, we'll link up. All right. So like I'm just recording. I'm just going. It's a very natural kind of thing. So
for sure. So
why don't you
hop into it?
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and start off by telling me like what's your government name and then like explain your artist name.
All right. So my government name is Diavion Patterson. That's the full Govy. My artist name actually is I don't even know what my name is. Funny enough, I actually came up with that name like it was really out of the blue. Making a SoundCloud profile, and I was just stuck for a couple of minutes.
Oh, I love it.
And I was like, you know what? I don't even know what my name is. Typed it in, and that's pretty much been the name since like 2017.
Man, it works. It stands out. I know when we were doing the state sessions Spotify playlist, you got brought up, and I think we put you on there too.
Yeah,
and I was looking into it. I was like, all right. Fuck with this. I fuck with this hard. So yeah, I was a little curious. I mean, I assumed that's kind of where the name became from, but it's, you know, a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's hard to come up with shit these days because it's like everybody's kind of taking something. So it's like it's being original. So I want to ask you about like how do you stay original in a world where it seems like there's not a whole lot of originality?
As far as like staying original, I just try to like have an ear for everything and like listen to like what's in and what's not in and like what's the popping sound. So like whatever's popping at the moment, I try to like steer away from that and try to make something different while also being in that lane. You know what I'm saying? So like kind of like, you know, trap is like the popular sound right now. I kind of try and like as far as like the content, you know, steer away from it a little bit, try to make something that is has a little bit more substance, but still kind of keep that sound. You know what I'm
saying? So you're saying like you're just trying to grab all bags, like acquire all tastes, like
exactly.
You're not trying to like. I get really irritated with elitists who think like it's got to be something overly experimental or it's got to be something straightforward trap type shit. It's like, no, you got to find a balance in between what, you know, what's happening and what you want to happen, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
definitely. So like what I guess this is the question that I ask everybody. So this podcast is called Don't Get Lost in the Hype. And I've explained my thing and I'll explain it again soon. But what to you, what does the word hype mean? And is it a positive thing or is it a negative thing?
Hype. It could be a positive and a negative, because like if you look at it, it depends on how you live up to it.
Mm.
So
What do you
like
mean by that?
so like, how do I put it? Like Lil Nas X came out, one of the biggest songs ever, and like he wrote that song for the whole year, but like the whole time we was just asking like, all right, how is he gonna deliver with this project? Same with Jack Harlow. I feel like it's two different things. Like I don't feel like Lil Nas X didn't deliver, but I don't think it kind of connected how he wanted it to connect. Well, on the other hand, Jack Harlow had a really big hit, and I think he kind of stayed aggressive, and he stayed consistent. Like he dropped What's Poppin',
right?
Then on top of that, then he dropped the Tyler Hero record on top of a good project. So I feel like he he was really hyped, but like with the project and the songs, like he kind of stayed consistent and then fall off.
So
but like
you're
the bad hype would be
go
like
ahead.
like 6ix9ine. That would be like the bad hype, because I feel like it's controversy tied to that hype.
Right. It's trying to get click, saying that most outlandish shit just to get views, just to get clicks. And it's just like, you got to do what you got to do. But at the same time, there's no real substance to that or anything like that. And kind of like what you were saying. So like hype is like, it's okay to be hype or have a hype song. It's okay to like, it's hype is fun. It's great. It's all over the place. It's, be hype about this, hype about that, like whatever. But it's the getting lost in the drama. It's getting lost in when I say hype, I mean like, there's a teacher, I've said this a few times, but like there's a teacher I follow named Ram Dass. He died about a year ago. And he was a spiritual teacher of the sense. And he always said that when you go through life, there's all this noise, there's all this chaos, there's all this commotion, and there's the news, there's different things going on. He's like, it's all just a hype. Like, although it's, it's real and being in the present moment is the best thing, don't get lost in the drama of it. So like, how do you specifically, not necessarily with music, but with just everything in life, how do you stay centered and stay grounded amongst all the hype and all the bullshit out there?
I feel like you just got to kind of like separate the real and the fake. Like, like, and not only that, but like value what you got. Cause like looking through like social media, and like you probably like look like, oh man, like these celebrities, they got a better life than me, or all of that, and like half of the time they really just be faking it. So it's like sometimes like this lifestyle that these people portraying, that's not even their lifestyle, or sometimes they really don't even be happy. So it really be like, it's like just stay grounded and like have goals that you want to achieve, and like, just working, like, just focusing on yourself.
So like, when you say stay grounded, are there methods to that?
To be honest, like, now that you asking me that, like, I haven't really had a method like, oh, I'm gonna do this to stay grounded, or I'm gonna do this. I just be like, all right.
You're just with it. Like, it's not,
like a lot of this stuff don't faze me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I think that's a wonderful mindset and thing to stay with is not putting too much weight into it, just doing it, like just being in it. A lot of times people like to, including myself, I'm like the biggest perpetrator of this, but just overthinking things and being caught in different bullshit and whatnot, thinking that one thing is important.
So like I think we all get like that, because like I know, like for me, like I really be like, I don't like want to fail or like be this failure, because we always like got them people in our family that we be like, oh yeah, it's that one fuck up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, and then like we be like, oh, we don't want to be like them, or your parents or with whoever in the family, like, don't be like them. So I feel
Mm,
like that's like the ultimate motivator is like to just be successful and not be the failure
mm.
or looked at as a failure. But I
So,
feel like that failure is like whatever you make it, because it's success
right,
is whatever you make it,
right.
and whatever your goal is. Like some people, success to them is like going to college,
Mm.
getting a degree, and then getting a solid job. And then others to be like this super mega rich person. And then some people's success is like just reaching a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, sorry, there's a little bit of feedback there. I like what you said when it about it depends on what you consider failure and what you consider success. Um, and talking about not wanting to be the fuck up, not wanting to be the failure. I feel like a lot of people, everybody, nobody wakes up and was like, oh, I'm going to be a failure. Like nobody's going to be like, hey, like, I think I'm really going to fuck up today, like type shit. But at the same
Yeah,
time, people like to overthink things and try too hard to succeed at something. And then that's usually what causes them to fail is when uh, Alan Watts said something like where if you jam a key into a lock and you try to turn it and it doesn't turn, if you try to force it, you're going to break the key or break the lock, or it's not going to happen. It's not forcing anything. That's just basically it. It's not forcing anything. It's just doing with flow and with essence. But that being
yeah,
said, there's a lot of things that want you to force, like there's a lot of outside forces that want you to force what you're doing, if that makes sense.
exactly.
There's a lot of people, media, hype, no matter what it may be.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
And
pressure.
it also like sets unrealistic expectations. Like
Very unrealistic.
like a lot of people like look at media and they be like, oh, this person's my age and they got all this money, they got all this clout,
Mm,
but like we only 18. Like
right, right. I'm
like I
26,
just
but
turned
like,
18 a few months ago. Like
oh yeah, no, that's the
so it's
thing
like
too. There's people out there that are like 15, 16 that are blowing up, and it's like, what the fuck? Like even me, I'm like, I'm 26, like I'm about to be 30 in like a couple of years, like whatever. But then you have to think about it. There's also people like Run the Jewels, like they're in their 40s, like they're killing it out there, like
yeah,
and and,
still
and that
popping.
that's one of the biggest things is this is a question I've asked people before, and I want to ask you this: how do you differentiate what's the difference between goals and expectations? Because it seems like when people have expectations, that's when they're disappointed, and that's when they're set up to fail. But when you have goals, you're actually able to accomplish something. So, what to you is the difference?
I feel like a goal like works you towards that expectation.
Mm,
So like say my goal is to go platinum. Uh or my expectation is, or you're expected to go platinum. I'll
mm,
say that. My goal would be to, all right, I'ma market this song
mm,
and I'ma submit it to playlisters and I'ma submit it to curators and TikTokers and I'ma do whatever I can to make sure that this song reaches its full
mm,
potential.
mm,
And I feel like that's what a lot of people in the record business do. Like they have this artist that they're expected to like, oh, you're expected to sell this much. We gave you this much, we're expecting you to sell this much. But while we're doing that, we're gonna do these certain things to make sure that you do sell this much. You know what I'm
mm.
saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you would describe goals. So are goals the work, or are goals the ending product?
I think depending on how you do it, because like people have mini goals, and
Mm,
then it's like this super big goal that they want to reach. But like working towards the big goal, you have like the smaller goals, like
of course.
oh, like if I want to lose weight, like let me see, I want to lose 100 pounds. All right, I'm gonna start off my first goal, 15 pounds.
Mm,
Second goal, 10 pounds or however you want to separate it. You know what I'm saying?
I love that. Actually, think that. Sorry, I just the you're digesting it into smaller pieces instead of trying to take one big bite.
Yeah, because like when you do that, like you just take it like, oh, I'm gonna make $100 million this year, and then like you're expecting to make $100 million, and your goal is to make $100 million, but once you make like you do whatever you do and like you make $500 and you like disappointed, so now you just like, all
Right.
right, no, forget it, I'm gonna change course and this is how I'm gonna make $100 million now, instead of, all right, I'm gonna do this
I love it.
and I'm gonna make $100,000. All
There's
right,
so
so
many
come on.
people. There's so many people that like you were saying, they're like, I want $100,000. They make $500, and they're like, that's not 100,000. Like, what is this? As if you were just going to get it all right away. Like,
Exactly.
it's, and I think that's an expectation. Or like not an like and when I say expectation, I mean like a mental, like a
Yeah,
false expectation, if that makes sense.
yeah,
But what you were
because
saying
it's
about,
really unrealistic.
yeah, very unrealistic. What you were saying about the, well, we were talking about the breaking it down into smaller parts. That also shows, like, I mean, you look at it in science and nature and all of human life. We're everything is just everything is repetition of itself, but just expanded to scale. So, like, if there's atoms that make a cell, and the cell makes I forgot what it was. It goes up to like atom cell. I think it's tissue, and then tissue becomes organs, and then organs become the body. So
Yeah,
like same thing with goals and expectations and setting. If I want to make this much money or do this or whatever, you got to build the atom, then the cell, then the tissue, then or like you can't just jump straight to body,
yeah,
because there is no, it's all repetition. And that kind of leads me into my next question. I like talking more about the spiritual side of things and whatnot. So I
for sure,
guess
for sure.
the first question I want to ask is, did you grow up in the church at all? Did you grow up religious? Did you have any sort of belief?
Like I remember going to church, but like when I was younger, but like my parents never like for like were like religious. I think they, and it's like not like a slight towards them. It's just like I think they
Right.
just did it because like they thought that that was the like way to go.
Of course. Well, and that's
So like
that's what the American culture kind of pushed anyways. So
yeah, but like once I got older, like I just was like, I start. It really changed for me. 7th grade.
mm,
I was in the 7th grade, and I had this teacher. He was a Pan Africanist,
mm,
and he was telling me like, cause he was like, if he was breaking down Christianity, he was like, well, if God loves all His children, why are we expected as humans to go to hell if we don't believe in this
right.
powerful white man?
Right.
Like it's in that he put emphasis on like who made Christianity, and like why is this man at such power, this
Mm,
powerful white man,
mm,
even though like everything in the Bible says otherwise.
right.
So
Right.
like I really had broke it down like, you know what, like, it really makes sense. Like i- if we don't praise this powerful white man, we go to hell.
Oh yeah.
Like
It's all
and it
control.
doesn't make sense.
Right.
So
See,
like I really was like
sorry, go ahead.
just did my own research and was like just like I'm still like trying to figure out like what to believe in, like what feels like comfortable with me, but like right now I'm just floating.
Right. Well, okay, so I actually grew up in the church, and I grew up in a more predominantly white conservative church, and I bought into a lot of when I was younger, because you want to be a good kid, you listen to your parents, and your parents tell you this is the way it is, and you go to church, and the church is telling you this is the way it is, and that's the only community. At least for me, this is my story. The only community I had, and so it was just part of my life, and then it was the same thing. Well, it started with um starting to have like grievances with certain situations and certain people, like telling me that I was a bad kid because I listened to heavy metal music at the time, or like telling me I was bad because I wanted to date girls when I was in 7th grade type of thing. Like it was a lot of different stuff that accumulated into eventually me kind of questioning everything and then not believing, and then kind of coming back around to um, finding truth in what I thought was corrupt that I originally thought was truth, but it's not the truth that my parents would say is the truth, if that makes sense. I'm going all over the place. So
Yeah,
where
no, I'm following.
exactly you said now you're more of like in a flow, you're just kind of
Yeah,
you're not really looking. And honestly, I think that is one of the more, and I hate to use this word, but one of the more enlightened states that someone can be in is like, we are put here, at least from my perspective, we are put here to love people, and we are put here to just be, like, we are just be here, like, if that makes sense. Like, we just are, the more in
yeah,
the
I feel.
present moment that you are, and the less you're worried about the future or the past, or like what's going to happen after we die type of thing, the better it is, because it's less of suffering. The Buddha says that the cause of suffering is attachment and desire. And so when you attach or cling to something, regardless if that would be a belief, a person, money, whatever it may be, you're going to suffer. But the issue and the predicament is that we as humans are all attached to something. And that's, we
Yeah,
wouldn't be in our bodies. We're attached to our bodies. We're attached to our families. We're attached to things that are good for us. But in reality, the reason why we suffer as humans is because of our attachment.
yeah,
So with your spiritual side, is there anything, I know you said you're not really doing anything right now, you're kind of just floating, but is there any sort of like, have you ever had a moment in time where you're kind of like, oh, there's something out there, like there's something different, maybe not a god, but maybe, have you ever had any sort of like paranormal shit, or like seen an angel or some shit like that, or lucid dreaming?
um, I don't know.
Mm,
My dreams have been like really weird though,
mm,
and like in my dreams, like oddly enough, like I would come up like with the craziest punchlines and melodies in these dreams, but like for some reason, like I would have like I would have writer's block like a
mm,
lot, especially like during this pandemic. Like I could not
mm,
write a single song. But like in the dream, like I was just coming up with bars and melodies, and like it was just out of nowhere. And it wasn't like from a song like
right.
that I remember or anything like that. It was like all original content. So I'm like, where is this coming from?
Straight
And
from you.
that's what so I'm really like the whole time I'm thinking like, is it something like within us or like out there that we
Mm,
have to like tap
that
into?
that's a good question. Personally, I think it is all within us, but at the same time, if it's all within us, then what is out there? Like, if there isn't out there, I mean,
Yeah. Or is it something out there that is driving us?
right, right. Is it an outside force? And is there, one of my biggest questions, and you can touch on this, is, do we have, I mean, do we have free will, or is this like an illusion of free will where we're just kind of being programmed and we don't even realize it?
Mm, I don't I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think anybody truly knows.
Yeah, because I'm gonna say this.
Mm,
I don't think that we're free.
mm,
Like anyone, like
mm,
rich, poor, white, black,
mm,
because it's always somebody that holds power over you.
mm.
So it's like the president, you might look at him as the most powerful person, but it's somebody that's more powerful than him
Right. He's got
who
to
can
answer to
veto it.
somebody.
You got to answer to somebody.
Yeah.
So it's like we look at like an authoritative figure like our teacher. Like we used to think the teacher was the big boss until we seen the principal and the
Right.
superintendent intendant walking around, and then teacher was on hush mode or teacher was on best behavior.
Right.
So I feel like as long as like as long as there's like people higher, if you're not the highest, like if you're not the most powerful person, like in absolute power,
Mm,
you're not free.
mm, mm. Do you think that power that all drives what's going on, do you think that's divine power, or do you think that's humans? Like do you think the person at the top is answering to God, or do you think, if there is a God, is what I'm saying, or do you think that the person at the top is like, well, nobody else is running this shit, I might as well?
Yeah, the second one, like I feel like it's like that person at the top is just like, all right, whatever it
Yeah,
is, I might come from a long family of rich people, or I might have the most respect, or whatever they use to like measure power.
right.
Because like depending on how you look at things or where you look at things from, like money might be, you might look at money as the most powerful weapon, or
Mm,
a lot of people look at respect as the most powerful weapon. So I feel like once you get like among those people, I feel like they all have this thing like, all right, we're gonna look at this as the measurement of power, and whoever has that, the most of that, that's the most powerful person. So right now, I
mm.
think the most powerful tool is money, but at the same time, when you're in those ranks, I don't even think money matters.
Mm, mm.
I feel like not money is fake, but like,
It's a construct.
yeah,
Like,
and I don't,
have you been seeing what's going on with the stock market?
yeah,
Yeah, it's like the the money itself is an energy. Money itself is a something that has been used and will be used, and it's not fake like you were saying. It's there, but at the same time, like, in all actuality, we all die. We like, the money doesn't mean shit. Like it does, but it doesn't. Like it in the physical realm, it'll fix a lot of problems. It'll, feed people. It'll feed your family. It'll keep you safe and keep you whatever. But at the same time, like, we all go in the ground, or we get
yeah,
cremated, or whatever.
and, yeah, and then like I feel like those people that like I'm saying, like at the top,
Mm,
like they have the power to tell us what currency is valuable or not. So like
exactly.
so it's like it really doesn't matter. I just feel like it's something like as far as like the powers that be that like they have amongst each other that they are like using to measure this power.
Mm,
And they're
mm,
using it to control everybody else.
right. It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah,
um,
it is messed up.
So, and that's kind of what, going back. I remember talking about this with Waterloo and Cam Sky. We were discussing.
Shout out to them. Shout out to
Yeah,
them.
shout out to them. I'm actually seeing Cam tomorrow. Um, but we were talking about, because you were talking about how there's always somebody ahead of you. There's always somebody above you, regardless of like how big. We were talking about, like, was it the big fish in a little pond? Like, you might think you're the top dog around here, but then you go somewhere else, you go to a bigger city, you go to a bigger town, and it's like, you don't mean shit. Like,
Yeah.
you'll get eaten, so like, people are always seem to have this strive and this hunger for more power, more whatever it may be. But in actuality, more, I think Pusha T said it best, or it's like a whole nother level, a whole nother devil. Like it's like, the more you go up, like, the more shit you kind of gonna have to go through.
Yeah.
But that
And I
being
kind of
said,
feel like
sorry, go ahead.
go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say, that being said, though, uh, the more money you have, yeah, the more problems you might have, but at the same time, it does fucking suck to be poor. Like,
Oh
you
yeah,
want
for sure.
to eat, you want to be comfortable, you want to, like, make sure you're not stressing over bills and shit like that. But it's just, when people have so much money to the point where you're like, it's impossible to get kind of that kind of wealth without stealing. Like, I don't know, like Jeff Bezos or some shit.
Yeah. Oh my God. Um, sorry.
You're good.
Two
My
pit bulls in the background.
That's good. My dog was
Um,
freaking out earlier.
but like as far I feel like the strive for power is what's up? the strive for power, like I feel like it's like when you in those ranks, like a lot of people be like, all right, I'm on this level, but this man, he coming right now. He about to pass me up. Let
Right.
me go ahead and get some more money or get some more respect or
Right.
whatever it is.
People people don't like to lose their positions, especially if their positions are treating them well. People don't like, or people sometimes just aren't satisfied with where they're at. I mean, how many times, even like we have to go through it, but how many times have you like wanted something so bad and then finally got it and then realized you didn't actually want it, or like it wasn't necessary to you, or
All the time.
all the time? And we all
Yeah.
do it. But the thing is I think that also goes back to attachment, and it also goes back to just like human nature and our spiritual journey as humans. Is we get this little seed of desire of like, we see something, we want it. It could be when you're a kid, you might see a toy on the TV and you're like, oh, I want that. And then eventually, after begging your parents or like saving up, money from whatever, or stealing it or whatever it may be, like you eventually acquire this toy, and then you maybe play for it for a little bit, you might love it or whatever, but eventually it breaks, eventually you forget about it, eventually you move on. And
Yeah.
I just think that that's just human nature. We are just gonna go through that over and over. Like even now, when I was living with my ex a couple of years back, I was like, and we were breaking up, and I needed to find a place for me and my dog. I like specifically mapped out like, I want an apartment. I want 2 bedrooms, one for me and then one for my studio, and like, I want this and this and this. And I worked hard, and I ended up getting it. But now that I'm here, I realize I'm like, this still isn't the environment that I should be at. So now I'm looking like, all right, now I want something with a yard so my dog can run around in. And like, I'm just trying to
Hmm.
figure out like exactly where to go. So like, where in your journey as a human, like, do you find the most difficulty, like something that I guess what I'm trying to ask is, where do you find yourself struggling when it comes to goals and things like that, and then where do you find yourself thriving?
Um, Probably say like um I don't know. Cause like I'll probably say like the physical side of like the physical goals,
Mm.
like trying to eat better and like
Oh God.
yeah,
Yeah.
like those goals like that. Like I probably would say like those are the goals like I found myself struggling with the most. But as far as like balancing like school and work and like music, like I pretty much balanced that pretty well. But like other than that, y'all would just like say like the physical stuff, like
Mm.
eating habits and like
Definitely.
exercise and stuff like that. Like those goals are the hardest, and I feel like it's just because like we're comfortable with like
Oh
just
yeah.
chilling and like eating junk food and stuff like that. So I feel like just getting outside of my comfort zone with that is like the hardest.
Oh, I feel the same way. I like I said, I grew up I grew up kind of poor, and so like it was a lot of, Little Caesars $5 pizzas, and it was a lot of, McDonald's. It was a lot of like cheap like fast food, because it was like my mom, single mom, 4 kids, just, instead of cooking, just run through the drive-through type of thing, like get
Yeah,
a couple McDoubles or something like that. And um so it's like that, those are childhood patterns that I'm still unlearning. And the thing is I like fruits and veggies. I like eating healthy, but at the same time,
yeah,
I love soda. Like I'm addicted to soda. I can't stop drinking soda. And then like I was able to quit cigarettes. I was able to cut back on drinking. I was able to do a lot of that. But when it comes to soda and junk food, it's like, man, I got a weakness.
yeah. No, but it's like crazy because like I was watching a documentary and they were saying like sugar is like more addictive than cocaine.
Oh yeah, I
So
believe
like
it.
yeah, like and I feel like that's like if you want to really get money, like make make some junk food or something.
Oh yeah.
Like because like, and that's what I was learning in economics was like, no matter how high the price goes, like for cigarettes, I think the term was a demerit good, and
People are gonna buy
it
them.
was it was like an inelastic price. Like no matter how high the price is, like you're gonna pay for it because you need it.
Yeah.
So it's like if you really want to make money, make something that's like addictive and like like cigarettes or something like a soda or something like that.
Right. I just saw this thing where Coca-Cola, I don't know if it was real, it could have been a fake post or something, but Coca-Cola was promoting like a coffee version of Coke with like caffeine in it. And everyone's like, they just want to put cocaine back in there so bad because it was like, the original Coca-Cola had cocaine in there. Uh,
Yeah,
but but when I looked at it, sugar makes more sense because it's more addictive. Less people are, you're dying slower than cocaine, and it's more addictive, dying slower, and it's not as like psychoactive. But at the same time, you're still triggering those responses. Also, sugar tastes better, but
yeah. And I think also like the stigma behind
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
sugar and drugs. Like I feel
definitely.
like if it wasn't a stigma behind cocaine, like half the earth would be doing it right now.
I think half the earth is doing it. Like,
Yeah, like exactly. Like so just imagine like everybody in Hollywood right now.
oh yeah,
Like
like
everybody just
I didn't
doing coke.
realize. I didn't realize until I got older, and I don't know how like what your perception is, but like I heard of like when I was in high school, I heard maybe like of a kid doing coke every once in a while. Like it was never like anything big. But then as I got older and I was like, oh, there's just a lot of adults that are like, oh, it's the weekend. I'm just gonna do a couple lines. And I'm like, wait, what? Like
Yeah, like
like I
yeah,
did
that
not
it be
realize that was so like normal, I guess. I like
yeah, no, like it's like still like even like when I see like celebrities like openly talking about it, like
mm-hmm.
I feel like and like with the celebrities, I just feel like it comes with like whatever fan base you attract.
Right.
Like
Right.
you can openly talk about that. So like
Well,
sometimes it like catches me off guard when I watch it like Adam 22 interview and he's openly talking
yeah.
about cocaine and like sex parties and stuff like that. And it's like it's not normal to me, but like probably to
Right.
his fan base, that's like
That's just a
that's
Thursday.
yeah.
So that brings me to my next question, and feel free to not answer this at all. But have you ever tried psychedelics?
No.
Have you ever like thought about it?
Yeah. Like I haven't like thought like, oh, I should try it, but like, I just thought like how it would feel.
Mm, mm,
Like you know what I'm saying? Like just
right,
like, oh, how would it feel to like be on a shroom right now?
right. And I think it all comes in time. I think if people are supposed to do it, they'll do it. It's not something that the very first time I ever did mushrooms, I was like, everybody should try this. Like it was just like, oh, and then the more I like did them and the more I kind of got into like the inner workings of everything, I realized I'm like, no, it's definitely, I consider it a medicine, I consider it a tool, I consider it something like spiritual, but it doesn't mean that everybody should just go trying it. Like, you know,
Yeah,
it's like if you have a really good time skydiving, you're not going to go, everybody should skydive, because it's like not
yeah,
everybody's going to like that shit. And some people might die and whatever else. But that being said, I would consider myself a psychedelic advocate. And that actually goes back to like my Christian upbringing. That's something that I never thought I would be openly talking about. Because when I was younger, it was very much straight edge sober. Like I was like, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to smoke, I'm not going to do anything. Obviously, that went out the window. Um,
yeah,
but psychedelics kind of brought me back to understanding humanity and like what my purpose is here, and more of the spiritual side. It's simultaneously both wonderful and like awe, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe like there's this thing that I can take, and then all of a sudden I can feel like I communicate with something higher than myself. And it's also like, of course there's this thing that I can take to communicate with something higher than myself, because why else wouldn't there be, type of thing. But that being said, and I've said this on another podcast before, but I think it's more beneficial to meditate. I think it's more beneficial to try to work to that spiritual level physically and on your own. But just because it's more beneficial to do that doesn't mean that it's wrong or bad to, say, type in a cheat code, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I feel you. Yeah,
Like,
so like
yeah.
you kind of like trying to tie in like psychedelics and like to like so are you trying to like say like using psychedelics could like help you like tap into your spiritual side?
Oh, they definitely can. Like, and that's just, you know, not saying it, like I said, it's not, you know, I don't want everyone to go out and just try a bunch of shrooms, because then, like, you know, you might lose your mind if you don't know what you're doing, type of thing. Like, it's
Yeah.
very, you know, it's both simultaneously not that serious and very serious. Like, you have to like be prepared for what you're about to experience. You have to like be aware of what you're about to experience, but it's nothing that's going to kill you. It's nothing that's going to, like, you know, when you're in it, you're just kind of like, oh, okay, like I get it now. But you will tap into your spiritual side. Um, but people have reached those states of consciousness. People have tripped by just simply meditating, by just simply being aware and in the present moment, and by focusing on their breath and whatever else. There's different types of meditation that can bring you to different states. But sometimes meditation, therapy, things like that, um, takes years, months, weeks, whatever it may be. Like, it takes a long time to reach those states. But if you like take take shrooms on an afternoon, or take acid, or smoke DMT, or whatever it may be, you might jump like months of therapy, might jump months of meditation. Once again, it's not a replacement. Like, I want people to go to therapy. I encourage people to go to therapy. I encourage people to meditate. I encourage people to pray, whatever that may be. But if for some reason there's a blockage and you feel like you just can't quite get there, psychedelics can be very useful, at least for me.
Yeah. I gotta still like do my research on stuff like that.
Definitely do your research. I would, people always say like someone recently told me, be like, oh, you're not supposed to like tell people what shrooms do, because then it gives them expectations, and then they blah, 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 blah. And I was like, fuck that. I was like, I'm never going to give anybody a substance and just be like, oh, guess what happens, type of thing. Like, you got to know what's going to happen. Like, everybody's experience is different. Everybody will experience different things, but there's a core feeling of like what you get when you take it. So it's like, I can at least explain, hey, you're going to feel weird for a little bit. You're going to see some things. You're going to blah, blah, blah. Like, I can at least talk them through it. So enough about psychedelics. I rambled too much, and spirituality. But going back to music, do you have anything planned for the near future?
Yeah, I plan on releasing my first project like later this year, probably in a few months. Still just working on like finishing a few songs and getting everything mixed right now. But yeah, like as far as like my project is pretty much almost done.
Do we have a name yet?
Yeah, Unknown FM.
Unknown FM. You hear to hear. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What's the influence for this project? Is there a specific vibe that's going to be going with it, or is it just like, fucking, let's make some?
I'll probably say it's just really chill. Like, it's just more of a chill vibe. It's nothing like too turnt. It's a few turnt like upbeat songs, but like as far as like the sound of the project is pretty much gonna be chill for the most part.
But is there a specific time that, or like day? I don't want you to reveal too much if you don't want to reveal anything, but is there a specific time you want to release this?
About to be February. I want to release it before I go to college, so around like maybe May or June, because I probably leave around July.
Okay, so this is still a few months out then.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
It really all depends on like when I finish, because like
yeah,
once I finish it, I still want to like make sure I promote everything right.
Exactly.
So like I just don't want to. I don't
Rollouts
want
are
to drop
everything.
something. Yeah, I don't want to just like drop it like, oh, I'm finished. Let's drop it right now. No,
Right.
I'm gonna make sure like I promote everything right, and yeah, just like make sure the rollout is exactly how I want it to be.
Right. I've had this conversation with a few people. It's very easy to want like I make beats every once in a while. Like I'm not, the best at it, but I do what I can. And sometimes when I make something that I'm like, oh, I really like this, I'm like, oh, I want to post it right now. But then I also have to think like, no, I got to go back and listen to it a few times, make sure it's right. And
Yeah,
all this stuff. I feel like artists in general just have this itch to like, not impatience, but just a little bit of, like we want to put things out there. But if you release a song called, palm trees, like Flatbush Zombies, and you release that in December, people are gonna be like, the fuck? Like, there's no palm trees in December. Like, there's no sun. Like, like there's a
yeah,
vibe to everything. Like, timing is everything. You don't want to release a summer song in the winter. You don't want to release a spring song in the fall. It's
yeah,
all that.
yeah. So like, yeah, as far as like releasing any music right now, I'm probably just like making sure like I have everything how I want it to be as far as like the sound goes, and then just rolling everything out perfectly.
Mm. Well, I'm going to ask
Yeah,
a couple more questions, and then we're probably going to wrap up here if that's all right with you.
okay, for sure. Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
all right. So let's. What's what's one person, dead or alive, that you would love to work with?
Uh,
How about we'll do one dead, one alive.
okay, dead. Um, it's a lot of.
Yeah.
I'll go probably because it's a lot of people that I won't remember that'll pop up.
Right. And
Like,
then you're gonna think of something like
and I'll
20
be
minutes
like,
from now and be like,
I
ah.
really, but dead, I'm gonna probably say, Pop.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I mean,
And we don't make the same music, but like, I don't know what we would like, but like, he's always like collaborated with people outside of like what he made. So like, I don't know what like we would make, but I just know it'd be fire.
I know this is pretty like surface level to say, but the game would be way different if he was still alive. Like, I could see him working with all different types of artists, like from
Yeah,
young kids to older people to whoever.
yeah, and especially like embracing people. Like
Oh
like
yeah.
I feel like he would be the one to embrace the new wave.
Definitely.
Alive, K Tronada.
Mm, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, he I feel like as far as like producing and like being a DJ, I feel like he's the like as far as like the electronic wave and the EDM wave, like I feel like he's like the best. He's like the best right now.
Hell yeah.
He yeah, like his production is like I haven't heard anything like it.
Mm, mm.
So like and like if you like look at all his collabs with like rappers like Gold Link and Mick Jenkins, like they all like they all mesh well together. So I feel like I would fit right in and we would like make fire.
Definitely. Definitely. Okay, so let me think. I had a last question and it slipped my mind. It had something to do with honor. You know what? If we will sorry, my brain's a little off. I've had a long day.
Yeah, for sure.
We will definitely do this again. I want to do it in person, and I want to because
Yeah,
I want to sit
we
down
gotta
with
do
you.
it in person.
And I think also because like I'm gonna be seeing Cam tomorrow, and I always have great conversations with him. I would love to get like just a bunch of guests into one thing.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
A big group.
Because there's
a group
it's
chat.
a lot of people in the city that like make the same music that we make. Like
Oh,
that
definitely.
I don't like really like Waterloo and Cam are like the only people I know.
Yeah.
So like
They're awesome dudes.
Yeah, so like that'd be like really dope to like meet a lot of other creators in the city.
Oh, definitely. And that's what we're trying to do with the state sessions in the new state. We, it's been a little hard with COVID and shit, but we've got a plan now. We're setting it in motion. Things are going to start changing around here, and we've got it's going to be exciting. So I can't wait to see everybody kind of coming together. And also, like, I know there's a whole debate with trusting vaccines and stuff like that, but at the same
Oh,
time,
yeah.
like, I'm pretty confident that even if these vaccines don't work, we'll find one that does. Like,
Yeah, I'm not too like sure on it just because it came so quick.
right. I mean, they
Yeah,
also it's it's a long thing, but I'm kind of waiting to see what happens. But like I
yeah,
said, like I being positive at the positive side, I would see us within the next year being able to at least have some sort of like live shows again where people can actually come together and whatnot.
yeah,
Hopefully.
for sure.
Hopefully. Well, it's
Yeah,
been awesome talking with you. I thank you so
yeah,
much for your
for sure,
time.
man.
And
I
like I
love I
said,
love this.
oh man, I appreciate it so much. I apologize, like, if there's anything we didn't get to. And like I said, we will do this again.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I feel like it'd be better in person.
oh, way better, way better.
Yeah,
But this is still an amazing episode. I think you brought
yeah.
some real knowledge, real gems to the table, and I can't wait to share it with everybody. So thank you, everybody. If you want to once again give your name and maybe some info, maybe your Instagram or something, and
Oh yeah, I don't even know what my name is here. You can follow me on IG at I don't even know what my name is _1. Project coming soon. Y'all stay blessed.
hell yeah, don't get lost in the hype. Episode 9. Thank you so much, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, for sure.
Peace.